Things are starting to feel funny, not just the feeling, but the feeling of remembering what they were saying to me. Deja vu, Groundhog Day, part 2. How could this happen? We never always agreed, but it's clear we're starting to disagree. More predominantly, I want to stay up late. All you're trying to do is sleep. I want to play basketball with my team, but you're complaining about your knees. I bought 2 scoops of the sweetest ice cream, but you're complaining about your teeth. Bought a bestseller book, you're complaining you can't see. I can see you're no longer easy to please. A lesser man would be eager to lead, but bigger words would be easy to read. The harder sight leading the blind, you follow, I lead. There you go, I can see you starting to cheese. Flashbacks of what we start in our teens. Where have you gone?
You're here with Mac Gator the Poet, and this is the Ghetto Geek TV Weekly, your spot for hip hop. I'm here with my man Wazir Gray. So Wazir, man, you know, thinking back to when you was a kid, what was like the first thing that got you into hip hop?
First thing that got me into hip hop, well, my older brothers, both Raheem and Jaquan, man, they definitely were involved into listening to it. And I would say one of the big heavy things was Mobb Deep, man.
Yeah.
Mobb Deep. That was that group, man, that had me just like, wow, man, the stories that they would tell, man.
They were young. They were young when they came out.
So between, I mean, everyone knows, you know, the Biggie and the Tupac as well, but Mobb Deep was really what kind of captivated me, pulled me into that world. So
it was like the first group that you heard.
Yeah, man, that was like.
Brothers would probably listen to it heavy.
Yeah, man, that was every time I woke up in the morning to go to school, it was being played. One of the Mobb Deep songs. That was like the alarm wake up song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that.
No, that's like the same with me and Hypnotized. Same thing. It was like my alarm wake up, like before I knew what it was.
That's dope.
So it's funny someone else has a similar story.
That's dope. So Mobb Deep, who else, like, what other artists, like, inspired you growing up?
Growing up, big time?
Before, like,
I would
you know,
say,
I'm gonna write, I'm gonna record, like, just, like, who you used to vibe out to as a kid? And that, you know.
For that, I mean, Nas, for sure. There was a lot of vibing with Nas, man. My other boy, Atari A.0, he's actually on the album. He would listen to a lot of Nas, man, and that had me, his storytelling was crazy.
Ridiculous.
So that pulled me in, and then the Capone and Noriega, which is a sleeper group, man. Epic group, man. When they had the intro with Carl Thomas, man, Change Gonna Come, that was another one I keep waking up to. And that one wasn't even rap, but it was just the concept of what they had in there leading up to the album, man. And the album was serious. The Reunion was one of my favorite all-time albums for sure.
Yeah. That's some dope stuff right there. You remember like the first album you ever bought? You personally, not, you know, I'ma steal my brother's CD.
Yeah, you know what?
You first went to the store and was like, yo, I need this album. I'm gonna go out and buy it.
The first album I bought actually was Big Pun.
My man.
And I remember that because it was after, you know, which I'm not really proud of. We had stole some like lunchbox money back in middle school, man. We stole that, everyone divvied it up, man. And I went to the store up in Mattapan, I think it was. And it was a record store, you know, I'm looking through records and I got Big Pun with the red CD, man, to this day. So it was that one, and I think I got one of Tupac's ones as well, man. So, but it was definitely Big Pun, man.
Hell yeah. We're talking about him early, man.
Yeah.
Big Pun's a beast. Slept on compared to like the, you know, the top 5 or whatever. Everybody's top 5 in the game. Big Pun gets left out a lot, but he was a lyrical beast.
Monster.
Beast. Man. The way he manipulated words too, and the rapid fire that he got him out, it was something serious.
Definitely, man.
So like, who would be your top 5, dead or alive?
You know what? It's weird, man. I can't even tell you my top 5 because it goes off of like what I hear is like if it's good music, then I'm gonna be bumping it. You know, I couldn't even tell you who the top 5 is. Man. I mean, what off of the head right now, you know, it's all, you know, with Big Push, Kendrick Lamar, and everything's getting Big Push. Chance the Rapper's coming up as well. But it would be hard to tell you what my top 5 is, man. I mean, in the game right now, that's established artists.
How about right now? Not even just, you know, in history. Like who's some of your favorite cats coming out right now? So you got Kendrick, who's a beast. Who actually, for me personally, it took me some time to like. I grabbed the CD, his first one, or whatever. And the first time through, I didn't really get the concept or whatever. It's a real complicated CD, And Chemo told me I needed to go back.
Mm.
And because like the whole changing of the voices kind of throws you off a little bit.
Mm.
But then like once I sat down and I like looked at it from a second time, like Kendrick's something serious.
Definitely. It's one of those rare moments where you get to see someone who's gonna keep going throughout. His whole career. He's gonna have a career. What I mean? He's gonna do it. So that's cool to see, man, for sure, man. I'm happy for him. And that, people come out of his squad as well, mad talented, you know what I mean? Absol.
Yep.
And which I rock with. I do rock with Absol a lot. And then, there's people right now. I mean, I rock with Chance too, man.
Yeah.
Chance the Rapper's doing this thing as well. It's weird though, like album wise, like you got legends like Jay-Z and everything. I'm kind of behind though, to be honest, man. On keeping up with the music stuff
right now. I feel you. I don't really, radio play is not for me.
Yeah, exactly. One of those things where underground is like, I mean, local artists though for sure that are talented. You got Paranorm. Paranorm. He's crazy. He just dropped his album, Out Life Outside the Frame, which is definitely dope, man. Heavy content, man. And a couple local cats as well. I mean, Bakari JB.
My man.
You know what I mean? He just dropped his album Fear and Desire, and that was a serious body of work as well.
Yeah.
So local cats, and there's more, man. There's so many more that are like seriously.
Got a rich talent pool.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of good music coming out, man. That's like, it's good to see.
Yeah.
So why don't people know about all this good music? I'm from New York, so you say these names and they're new to me.
Yeah.
Why don't I know about these artists?
Well, it's twofold. It's one, do you really want to find out about local artists that are talented, that are from the city or from those surrounding areas that are really talented? And then it's also it's how the industry works, the music industry works, which I'm still learning about myself. I can't even front like I know how it works completely, because I don't. I got a lot of reading, a lot of studying to do in order to be involved in it in that way. But it's connections, man. It's connections. It's based on understanding how the business works, to be able to put your product, what you're offering in a light, as well as get it to certain avenues, radio, local radios that do support it, college radio. I mean, you really got to kind of study the scene, figure out your best route, and then go forth. A lot of people are slacking and sleeping on putting their music in stores. There's a lot of stores out there that actually will accept your music on consignment, like Newberry Comics, and that's something that you can download the form as long as you have a barcode on your product, on your album, and then you can actually send that in, send a certain amount to them, and then strategically you can actually go to the store based on your following and the people who support you, and have a celebration for it. And then in that store you can have products come off the shelf. As well as you can have posters and
you got places like Cultures too that do it.
And that's exactly.
And what, Lace does it. A couple other stores that do it too.
Yeah, man. The one over in Brighton does it as well.
What's that?
Mass Apparel.
Yep, Mass Apparel. Then there's another joint over there too. I'm forgetting. It's right by. I forget the store, but there's plenty of stores that go out there, but not a lot of people, will put their music or go up to a store. Hey, whether it's Newberry Comics where you're trying to sell it, or like, hey, I got a bunch of mixtapes. I'm trying to get, a lot of people don't realize you gotta like build a fan base. You can't, it's not like one day you're gonna wake up and everybody's gonna know my name, and then gonna be girls at center stage reaching out to touch me. You know what I mean? And I tell younger cats to just go to the stores and just try it. Why not? Get your CD out there, and that's just it's double promotion. You promote for them, people come in, build relationships that way.
Absolutely, it's definitely a relationship building thing, man. It's all on who you know and how you know them. Is it genuine? Is it authentic? You know what I'm saying? Or is it just because you're trying to achieve a goal at the end? The ends to a mean thing. And that's one thing that I'm happy about, because I got a full-time job that I'm not in a way where I'm not gonna, pursue doing other things that I enjoy, like making music and sharing it, and it's positive in a way where, it's something that doesn't just degrade, any individual or groups of individuals, stereotypical, doesn't follow in that mindset, but, it allows me to express myself and not have to stress myself on trying to become something that is generating a bunch of money. So when I have that formula in place where I'm still striving to achieve things outside in terms of, whether it be school-wise or better job-wise, I still can put my time towards creating something, and it's not something that a listener can tell that, man. No matter where you are in the world, they can tell if it's something that you are genuinely trying to express or something that you're trying to deceive people into believing that it's something that is genuine, so that way you can generate money and you can be famous and rich and live that life that is displayed to us on TV.
It's the love. Do it for the love.
Exactly, man.
And that's it's hard to find people that are like that. A lot of people nowadays it seems like there's like a rap is like diluted, or hip hop's diluted, because there's so many people who are trying to do it because they see on the screen like, oh, this guy got a car, he got money, he got girls, like, oh, I'm gonna just rap.
Exactly.
Pull out a little, pull out a rhyme book, jot some rhymes down, Dr. Seuss style, get up there, come up with a catchy hook and a nice beat, and I'm gonna be famous.
Exactly. I'm gonna emulate them, which is basic type of rhyme.
Follow the leader.
Same formula, yeah. I'm gonna be, and it's weird. It's twofold, because on one hand, you have people who are able to duplicate someone who is famous for what they do so good that it's like, man, you are talented because you duplicated that in a way that's like, wow, it's impressive. But then that's very, that's a very, very, very small.
You only hit so much because you're fucking with somebody else.
Exactly. They're gonna be like, well, I can just listen to him rather than listen to you. So why would I ride with that?
When you would rather come in with some more originality, some concepts, like a video that people are asking, who's this about? And it's about your childhood. You know what I mean? But people don't realize it at first. And I know from personal, from listening to you, from seeing you perform, you definitely have some dope concepts with whatever you bring.
Appreciate that.
And with that, like, something that I've always wanted to know, where did the the whole I'm gonna come up on stage like I need 50 cents in a Burger King cup, and then all of a sudden I'm in a suit. Like, close your eyes, like, because I think that's a dope performance piece coming from somebody like I perform in front of crowds, and that's just like, so to me that's outside the box thinking, where I perform, that's what I do, and you're like, yep, well, I'm gonna show you this, and I'm gonna add this other element to it. So how did that that piece all form?
Well, one of the things was Bakari, when we were younger. How we would talk about, we perform, we used to do shows, small shows, local shows, doing for like high school kids and stuff like that. And, he was the type of person where, I would sit there and be like, all right, well, what are we doing? How is it different? How is it engaging? And, I'm just like, I don't want to do exactly what because I'm sitting there watching people, and I'm not judging in a way where, I'm spewing negativity, but I'm judging, I'm saying, all right, well, that was exactly what this last person did. How does that engage me? So when we went through that concept, like, well, what can we do? And I remember sitting at home thinking to myself, man, because I'm big on like magic and all that, man. So when I was younger, magnets and stuff like that, and magic shows was big for me. And I just love that element, man, where I'm like, all right, well, let me do something that's kind of like a trick to me.
I'm gonna snap my finger over here and do something over here. Deception.
Deceive you in that type of a way that's entertaining, man. Because it's what we like to do. We like to entertain people.
Yeah, exactly.
People are like, yo, that was really good, rather than being like, good job, because that's what I'm supposed to say when you're done performing.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really felt like you did anything that was different. I mean, you could literally close your eyes, and that's kind of what I thought. And you wouldn't know who's performing for the last 3 different people. You would think they would walk off stage and came back on. So I mean, with that thing, I'm sitting there, and another big thing that tied it in was, growing up, I went to schools in the suburbs, through Metco and everything. So I had to live that life where it was like both sides. You know what I mean? And so it was interesting to see how people judged you and looked at you in one way, but they had no idea maybe what's going on. And that happens through no matter what the situation of where you are, because I mean, it could happen whether or not you're someone who comes to inner city and you look like you, and then it's like, well, they think one way. I mean, it happens that way. So I said, all right, let me try to think of something that was along that line. So I was in there because I was dealing with wearing suits from work, and people being like, oh, making jokes, and I'm like, you know, so man, like,
jealousy.
Yeah. So let me.
That's what it is. I wish I could rock a suit every day, making y'all look bad and stuff. You know what I mean?
You know, a lot of it, honestly, the suit thing is a lot of it is because I don't have the time or feel like changing, so I just keep it. Yeah. And it actually ended up working out for me in ways where I was like, all right. Although I did when I was younger love the concept of like, you know, dressing up.
Yeah, who doesn't?
And you know, big into the whole Chinese suits and Chinese movies where they had the crazy nice looking suits. I always wanted to emulate that. But so that's kind of what started that whole process, man. And I put it together. I remember talking about it at my mother's house, and I wrote it, and then I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? I started thinking about it, and I made it happen, man.
Fire.
Hell
yeah. So like, what are some of the performers, like rap artists that perform that you know influence you, like different styles? You know, I know how you put, or even not even just hip hop, like anything. Like I know Magic. You were saying, is there anything else that might have added to your performance style and what you do?
Performance style, a lot of it. You know what? Honestly, is local artists and because that was a lot of the shows I went to, man. So. It was coming across people, for example, even like you, man. You were a big motivation for me, man, where I was like, wow, man, like, the way you could captivate the audience, man, and how you commanded the crowd is something that I honestly kept watching and trying to take notes on. And you probably can remember when I used to come out, and I would see you at different venues, man, and I would be like, yo, man, I want to make sure you understood that because it was something that I could really appreciate, man, seeing someone who has cultivated that skill.
I'll tell you, and this is for the man behind the camera that told me this story. So that whole, you know, one of the things that I take pride in with my performance is the fact of captivating the crowd. And Iggy over here told me a story about Jay-Z, right, and Wale. So it was ESPN First Take, and I forget whichever, I don't know if it was Skip or the other dude, was saying how Wale is the best performer. Because I guess Wale, you know, he has a live performance, bounces off the wall, does all this shit. And then Wale said, nah, Jay-Z is, right? Because Jay-Z can sit there with a microphone in his hand and spit lyrics to 2-3 million people, and every single person can be dead quiet or saying his lyrics or bumping it. And that type of power is just hands down, you know, when you can captivate a crowd like that with just your voice doing nothing, like this. And I took that to the hop, you know, when he told me the story. And, you know, that's one of the things, because I don't do much. Not that I don't do much, but I just sit there and I let the voice of it, you know, hit the crowd. But I had to get that because I haven't been able to tell that story. A good way to like sneak that in there. You know
I'm on it, man, to hear that, man. That already had my brain firing, man. Neurons is firing. I'm like, man, that's true.
Oh, yeah. And I didn't really, you know, my man loves Jay-Z. I'm not the biggest fan of him. But I'll tell you, when I heard that, like that kind of kicked it in that, you know, I got to be assertive. I got to get the attention. I stare into people's souls when I'm on stage. If you can, you know, I want people to be focused. But
Definitely want when I perform, you know, it's little tricks, man, like where you got to think about it in the, you know, the concept of, you know, how you want to be treated extends through everything. So in terms of when I'm in the crowd, man, if you feel like someone is focusing their attention and they're talking to you, it's gonna captivate you more than if someone's just looking at the floor, looking over here, constantly looking over here.
There's a lot of rappers that eyes closed and spit the lyrics.
Looking at the
mic. I noticed that.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, trying to keep themselves from messing up because of the nervousness and not wanting to actually connect with the crowd or who your audience is, man. So that's big. But I try to make eye contact with every person throughout the performance.
Exactly.
As a way of letting them understand. Now, I'm talking, you're going to pay attention, especially if people are talking and all that. You know, you
you go right at them, focus.
Because you can feel that when someone's looking at you too. So especially if someone's on stage, man.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely dope, man. I mean, you definitely have earned yourself as a top tier level performer, man.
My man.
I'm blessed to actually know. Honored to be a friend of, man, and I look forward to continuing the friendship in the future, for sure.
Definitely.
Matt, you remember the first time you seen him perform?
I can't say the venue or whatever. I know it was a rec shop event or whatever from back. I'm pretty sure it was a rec shop event. I rock crowds with my voice, but I don't really have the, you know, I'm not talking to the crowd to like be involved with the piece. And that was something that I took from you because you're like, I want everybody out there, close your eyes. and then he goes into his piece, and as he's going into, he's taking off the hoodie. You know what I mean? Slowly but surely, and nothing's ever like, you couldn't tell, like, you know, and it's awesome seeing the crowd with their eyes closed, because they literally, you'll see the entire crowd, eyes closed, focusing on the words. You know, something I notice about your music is it's very positive. Nothing's really shown in a negative light. You don't down talk people and stuff like that, where, like, you know, you hear some people and it's like, yo, bitch, I'm doing this crime, I'm doing this, and they're trying to, like, portray an image. When I'm just me, and you know, I love rapping. I love putting concepts, metaphors, lyrics.
And a cousin of mine said to me, you know, what are you trying to do? You know what I mean? Like, what is your goal? Are you trying to get signed by a record label? I mean, what is it? You tell me. It was actually a deep question, because I was like, man, what am I trying to do? Because I realized that no amount of money is gonna make me happy.
Yeah. And
I'm 26, and I've been, working poor, if you want to call it that way, and came up in a family that didn't have money like that. So for these last 26 years, because I'm still that way in terms of working poor, I've been mad happy, man. I've had ups and downs, of course, but overall, man, I could die tomorrow, and on my deathbed, I would be sitting there going, "Word," you know what I mean? Like, I had a good life. So if I've been 26 years happy, man, you know, how is it that getting millions of dollars is gonna make me some super happy? You know what I'm saying? And we already know, if you even look at, like, levels of happiness, man, how they dip like a wave. If you did get that money, I mean, it would go up, but then eventually it would just kind of mellow out, and it would just stay the same. Yeah, so, you know, that's not my goal then, is to get that, because it's like you're chasing something that you're never going to actually have, and you're just going to drive yourself mad, man.
Yeah.
And you look at people who are, you know, super wealthy or got there, usually they kind of go crazy, man, whether it be on drugs or just socially crazy, and they can't handle it, man, and they end up back actually way worse off.
Yeah, you know, that's just dope. Any way you look at that, and doing something for the love, it's just like you have a genuine, you know, passion behind it, and the happiness thing, man. That's key. Tell me about the group.
The group, the X-rated group.
The group that I seen Bakari post on earlier today. Tell me about the group, because you started to, and then you started filming me, and I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah. Nah, you focused on getting other things happening. You know what?
Checking out his new video, which you all better see that.
Yeah, it was the Where Have You Gone official production, first actual video from the project, and you know, for the Generated X, it's funny, man. We started as X-rated, man. It was 5 of us.
Yeah.
It was myself, Kari, which everyone called him Yambo back in the day. I'm putting him on the spot, man, so keeping it real.
Oh, right under the bus.
You know what I'm saying? So we got Bakari, myself, Atari, which is 8.0, and Goob, you know what I'm saying, and Edwin, my man E, man. He's dead to me, man. That's a really big motivation factor with me. And so we started like that, and my man Live, can't forget Live, man, Manny. So we kind of started as a group like that, man. We young kids through the school, high school, you know, middle school era, flowing and all that, you know, creating songs. And then, you know, it got to a point where we actually had different avenues where we could record, and I was dealing with my homeboy Nico, my man Joey. So we started recording with him and David Biz, man, and we had, you know, started this, you know, making songs, man, decent songs, you know, kind of working towards it, and then, you know, things kind of fell apart. Yeah. Where everyone's getting older, man. Groove kind of, you know, disappeared from the scene. My man E, you know, he had his trials and tribulations as well, so it was kind of, and then Live, he was focusing big on basketball. Yep. And doing his school thing as well, so it was kind of left where it was myself, 8.0, and Bakari, doing the music thing. And we got to a point where we did kind of, and Nico and everything, and we got to a point where that kind of fell apart as well, recording wise. I mean, that was big, because we didn't have, like, you know, heavy paying jobs, and back then recording was different. We didn't have a lot of producers that were, or engineers that were available for a reasonable price that could record and had the knowledge. So when that kind of fell apart from all the different songs we lost and everything, you know, and we did local shows here and there, you know, small venues, and so when that fell apart, you know, it was actually at a point where I was like, I'm not gonna rap no more, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really got to a point where I remember saying, like, I'm done with it, you know what I mean? And I hadn't wrote a rhyme in a long time. and I was just focusing on doing work and doing different ventures that I was doing. If I remember him saying, Bakari saying, that, you know, he woke up and was like, man, like, what am I gonna do, man? Like, I'm this old. He was dealing with a job that he wasn't liking, and he was like, you know, so what am I gonna do, man? Like, I got, you know, a job that I don't really like, that's not treating me well, and I have, you know, the abilities to create songs and do raps that people appreciate, can help, you know, motivate young people, and you know, so am I gonna waste that, man? I mean, because if I'm not gonna make a hard push for it, you know, I gotta completely stop doing it.
Yeah.
Because he was still
no half-ass, no foot in, foot out.
So he said, all right, I'm gonna do it. So he went and did this massive push, which I commend him, man. He was big. The way he pushed for doing it, man, was, you know, again, what we were talking about earlier, which is the Boston scene, and is it, you know, hateful or is it supportive? And he, you know, he said to himself, all right, you know what, I'm gonna be the change that I want to see. And so he wanted, you know, he supported everyone because he understood what everyone's going through.
Everybody. You will see him, 6 people in a room sometimes, and he'll be front and center for whoever's on stage, vibing with them,
rocking with them, man.
Bakari's one of the best people I know.
So he went and did that while simultaneously pushing for his project's completion. Pulled me back into it, and I started doing the same thing. Then, you know, that's really what got me, because he, you know, he said to me, all right, listen, I'm gonna give you studio time. And I'm like, damn, man, like, that's crazy. All right, cool, like, I'll do that. So I came in there and, you know, recorded my first song, and that, getting back in the booth, this was like a little 2 years ago.
He gets you right in there.
And I was like, damn, man, I gotta come back, you know what I mean? After my time was up, that time that he paid for, you know, I came through and it was like, I got the $120 or whatever it was for 3 hours, and I went and I recorded, man. And for the last, you know, 2.5 years, 2 years, I just been grinding and working, going and paying for the studio time, paying for the mixing time, going and doing it, and I have nothing else pushing me behind me besides just, you know, wanting to complete that. And that's how it came to fruition, man. And so he's huge, man. And he just posted on Facebook like, oh, the era, you know, 2014, because we were talking about it and we were saying we would call X-rated, but we couldn't do, you know, we felt like it wasn't really a good idea to do the X-rated because it gets so negative that it's almost, you know, it's counterproductive.
Yeah.
That but even though it was what we originally created was you know, Generation X and all that stuff. So, you know, Malcolm X, you know, different people who, you know, took the X as a positive thing. And we said, all right, well, Generated X in terms of that's how we're going to do it. Now, whether or not we actually accomplished something in 2014, you know, that remains to be seen because, you know, a year is tough, man. We're older, man. Yeah. Families and all, they got kids, man. Tough. But we're going to work towards that, and we're going to see if we can, we got some good ideas, man, some good things coming up that we want to accomplish and show everyone what was that original formula that we had for creating good music, man.
That's dope. That's a dope, you know. Shout out Bakari. I actually heard, he told me the story about it. That's why I asked you about it.
Okay. See if I was saying the same thing.
No, I knew. That's just a powerful thing, you know what I mean? When your buddy, when you got somebody who pulls you back and that believes in you, you know what I mean? Something like that. Like my best friend did the same thing with me. Like he believed. Now, where do you picture your music in 5 years from now?
5 years from now, man. I mean, you know, I'm more so working towards having it be, man, I can't even, that's tough, man. Because like I said, I'm not really looking to be a superstar. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, I want to be, I'll tell you the big thing for me, man. The big thing for me was I didn't like how I was someone who was young doing it, and I didn't have as much of a direction, right? But I still had the positive aspect of the different people I listened to, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, right?
Peace.
And how they gave us, you know, a little bit more of a hope in terms of feeling good that, you know, there was that positive aspect to things. And then not necessarily positive because they're talking about bad stuff. It's negative stuff, but they're making you feel like you can actually overcome that.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, I want to give back in that way to the young kids coming up. You know, I have my nephew that he's hearing the music and he's like, Uncle, man, like your music really helps me, man. It helps me push, man. Like it helps me, you know, get through my tough times, man. So to hear that was like choking up, man. Like, that's crazy. So, you know, and it reminded me of what I started doing and how I wanted to be that, you know, positive role model, and to be that that positive image that, you know, because everything is debatable in two ways. So you have people who say hip hop and all that is garbage and it's negative and it's degrading and it's going to cause people to do crimes and all sorts of crazy stuff.
The positive stuff that it can do.
I'm just another one on the scale for the positive side, you know, to combat that. And that's what it is. It's not that I am the one. I'm not trying to be how people look at it, like Kendrick or the king, or in a competitive way. I don't have a goal for that. That's just not me. I was young. I used to battle and all that. I don't do that no more. And I don't knock anyone who does it, but it's just something that I grew out of. So, you know, I'm just trying to be on that mosaic of people who are doing it in a positive way. So when it comes to a time for you to have to, someone's like, well, there's no good hip hop coming out of Boston. You could be like, well,
my man,
what? Like, have you heard Wazir Gray's album? And you can add that as your ammo into Bakari's album, into Paranorm's album, into Rex's album, a whole bunch of different local cats that are really, really talented, that are doing good things, man. And so that's what I want to do. In 5 years, I just want to be someone who, you know, maybe more so is brought up in that way when it comes down to conversations over and debates over positive, good music coming out of Boston. Someone who's actually, you know, participating in that. You know, I think it's interesting because it's like I feel like I'm already living it in terms of I'm doing what I was saying I was going to do. You know, I've done it. And I'm continuing to do that in terms of create music that isn't the stereotypical type of music that the mainstream mass media puts in a negative light. You know, that uses as fuel to continue to oppress people on different levels. Because it happens on whether it be videos for the music, whether it be the music itself, whether it be the image of the individual who is representing that music, and the different things that they're actually doing in their own private life. So for me to be able to leave, if I was to, let's say I was to say I'm done on this album, the first project album that I've created, you know, I would be happy with what I left, man, because if you were to listen to it and decipher it and keep going over it, you know, you would feel like, all right, man, there's a lot of interesting questions and thoughts and perspectives that, you know, I can fumble with, and the replay value of it. You know, you were thinking one song was about one thing, and oh shit, it was about something else. You know, for it to be fun in that way. I think if I could leave that type of a imprint, that I was someone who didn't fold under the pressures of people with big money, you know, to when they used to say sell your soul. But I mean, if you think about it, you say your soul is your music, and everyone's concerned about how much their music is going to sell. I mean, in a way, that equates to, you know, you selling your soul. So if you really focus on your music and you wanted to, the original purpose, which for me was to be that positive image and to help the young kids, you know, paying it back by paying it forward, then I'm happy. You know what I mean? I can't ask for nothing more. Like if I was to be bestowed the crown, you know what I'm saying, I would take the crown, I would melt it down, and I would use it to be able to give stuff to the people who are poor that don't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you couldn't give me the crown. You couldn't give me a throne, because I would melt the throne down and give it to everyone else that needs it. You know what I'm saying? That's where I want to live.
I don't even know what the hell to say. Who did the artwork on your CD cover?
The artwork, actually, I did that, man.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, man. I was looking to try and get someone to do it, man. I couldn't do it, and I was stressed, and so I said, all right, I got to figure this thing out, man. I downloaded the program and started doing something in InDesign, and you know, I got the pictures together, put it through another program, got it created, and you know, kind of put it all together through the program, made it happen.
I like the cover. It's definitely dope how it was put together. I had to just, you know, add that little piece in there.
I appreciate that, man. Balancing Act 2, man, available everywhere. iTunes, Bandcamp, Amazon, you know, everywhere, man.
It's Mac Ian and the Poet, closing out another episode of the Ghetto Geek TV Weekly. My man Wazir is gonna finish it up with a piece.
Sitting in this shitty house, listening to the whisperings of this gritty mouse. There's a few things that I think about. Time is the judge, and that's comparable. to how long it would take the mind of a great, accomplished rocket scientist to truly create a beautiful tape and be honored by rap honorables. And again, time as a judge. Sad that it's not more important what he does, and vice versa. You'd have to live them both to proclaim which life's worser. See, in this life is your vice versa. Talents, searching for balance is the balance. Remaining challenge is a challenge. Look at the legends, prove the proof wrong. You'll only be fulfilling the words spoken in this song. So you resign in disgrace, heart shakes when you bear witness to disgrace. You fear fitness, we in shape, lyrically, physically, spiritually. Visit me and admire the wizardry. I vividly inspire the mimicry, which is the highest form of flattery for the human anatomy. And I would assume you were mad at me if only I didn't want to make an ass out of you and me. But truthfully, I'm embracing the scrutiny. But you better embrace for impact if you're shooting at me, cause I defend this life to its last step, dance this dance to its last breath.
I'ma get you to a doctor, sympathy that he shot you. But no good deed goes unnoticed, and no bad deed goes unpunished, and no human being goes untarnished. Just know that the truth never says no comment. The most beautiful meal served with no garnish. Deceitful words they serve, cause the truth they won't brandish. I know it seems outlandish, but they starving us of the truth, making evil fair seeming. We looking famished. What would you do for your loved one? What would you do if you loved one? What wouldn't you do for your loved one? What shouldn't you do to your loved one? Say word.